There's about 200 million people in the United States who just got a major AI glow up in their day to day, and they probably didn't notice. It's not a new model from ChatGPT or a plugin to bundle skills in Claude Cowork or some get rich quick scheme to make an AI open claw bot fight each other for money or something like that. I'm talking about where you actually spend your time every day at work, likely in your browser. And if you're like 60% of the United States, that's in Chrome. So even if you are a free user of Google's Chrome, you just got some major AI upgrades powered by Google Gemini. And on today's show, we're going to go over 5 of the new time-saving features that you can put to work for you today. And we're going to preview another that's coming that you really won't want to miss. All right, I'm excited. It's putting AI to work at Wednesdays, so let's put AI to work. What's going on, y'all? Welcome to Everyday AI. If you're new here, my name is Jordan Wilson, and I'm the host of this thing, but it's for you. It's your daily live stream podcast and free daily newsletter helping everyday business leaders like you and me make sense of the non-stop AI updates, how to take what's actually important and grow our companies and our careers. So if you and me are doing that exact same thing, awesome. Your journey starts here with me, the unedited, unscripted live stream podcast. But if you want the cheat code, that's the website. Jot this down, youreverydayai.com. Go sign up for our free daily newsletter. We're going to be recapping the highlights from today's show in case you miss anything. If there's a link that we share, it's all going to be in there, as well as all of the other AI news that you need to know for today. All right, but here's the reality. Google was kind of behind when it came to AI for everyone, at least when it came to the browser. Surprisingly enough, Microsoft Edge was one of the first that kind of brought this by default with their Microsoft Copilot sidebar. Funny enough, that's powered by Chromium, which is Google's open source version of Chrome. And yes, Google did roll out some AI features. I think it was in the fall, but not a lot of them. That's kind of took a while to get them all kind of dripped out. Some of them were only to paid users, but now even free users, I think, have access to 4 of the 5 that we're going to be going over today. So this is one. Even if you're listening on the podcast, you can always watch the video version on our website at youreverydayai.com. But I'm going to do my best to talk you through it. I guess that you won't even need to watch the video version because it's fairly straightforward. And I'm going to try to navigate you there just with my voice. So here are the 5 features that you need to check out. Number 1 is agentic browsing in Chrome. That is the game-stopping feature right there. That is the one of the 5, though, that is only available to paid users. All right. Number 2, we're going to go on page summaries. Number 3, Google app integration into the sidebar, which I love. And I hope Google starts rolling this type of integration out everywhere. Number 4 is cross tab intelligence. Number 5 is Nano banana integration in the browser. And the coming soon, we're not going to really be able to go over this, but it's a nice segue technically in tomorrow's show, bringing personal intelligence into that Google Chrome sidebar. So this is one of those, we're going to be doing the whole thing kind of ad hoc live, right? What could go wrong doing live demos of brand new AI technology for thousands of people. So fun times, but let's get into it. All right. So live stream audience, if you could let me know if you see my screen, it should be non-personalized version of my resume, because that's what we're going to start with. Actually, this is one thing, I always get, emails, LinkedIn messages, whatever, people saying like, hey, I'm, changing careers, or I'm on the job hunt. How can I use AI? There's always a lot of ways, right? But ultimately, one thing that's super time consuming is finding jobs that fit your resume, right? That's a very manual search, and then filling out job applications. So I'm going to start with this one. I'm going to see if by the end of the show, if Google Gemini in the new sidebar is going to apply for a job for me. All right, we'll see. All right. So here's what you're going to need to do. Number 1, make sure that you're on Google Chrome and you're logged in. Again, you do have to be a US user. And then in the upper right-hand corner, there's going to be a new Gemini button. So before, I think they called it the Omni bar, and it was kind of like a floating bar. And now it's a dedicated kind of sidecar, side panel, right? Everyone calls it something different. But when you click that in the upper right-hand corner of your Google Chrome browser, it's going to pop out the dedicated Gemini sidebar. So you do, like I said, need to make sure that you've updated Gemini. This is new, but it is rolled out to all users in the US. So a couple of things, housekeeping, right? In the bottom, you can always switch between the different modes. So you have auto, fast, thinking, and pro. So for some of these, I'm going to be using thinking. For some, I'm going to be using pro. For some, I'm going to be using fast because through some of my testing, I've realized, even though it's not in Google's documentation, that some features only work in certain modes. And I'll try to tell you that as we go along, or maybe they work better or more consistently in certain modes. All right, but the first one, we're just going straight agentic browser. We're going to start this now, put our cake in the oven, and then we're going to check back on it later because presumably it will take a while. So I'm going to go to thinking mode for this. All right. I'm going to just start this prompt and I'll read it to you because we're going to let it go, let it cook. All right. So I just have my resume open and I said, find a chief AI officer or similar position in Chicago, and then use my resume that I have open there to apply for that job. If it's not my resume, please use your best guess. Use the information from my resume, use auto browse to fill in, blah, blah, blah. Right. So what you'll see if you use this, if it works successfully, you'll see a little icon that says task started. So yes, Google can go and do this for you in Chrome, which is amazing. So think of any, right? And this is one I'm just going to challenge you right now to think of those monotonous tasks that you do sometimes over and over. There's certain things, like as an example, that I used to love to do that were so monotonous that now with AI, if I'm being honest, I just don't, right? Like I used to love, right? Especially like, going on vacation or something. I used to love having like 30 tabs open and, seeing, oh, what's the best hotel room? And, I would literally go to like, 4 different review sites and, write down the star rating of a, hotel or something and, create little weights and little mini algorithms, right? And I used to love doing that, but it was obviously crazy time consuming, right? So think of those things that you do over and over in Chrome that are repetitive, right? And you'll see now, because I'm going to open up my other tab. So I essentially had a Google Doc open with my resume. I put this prompt in. I told it to use auto browse, and it actually opened up a new tab for me. So for those following along on the live stream, nothing crazy visual to see here, but there is a new tab that it opened for me, and it okay, great. So it's already needing my attention. Cool. So it opened up a new tab, and then it has a kind of browser icon. So I know that essentially Google Gemini is working autonomously for me in that tab. So I did get a notification. So I'm glad this happened. And I could have technically, in my prompting, I could have made sure this to really truly happen autonomously, even though I told it to do as much as it could autonomously. I could have, gone through, done some testing, see when it asked me, over and over, what I need it for. So, Google does have safeguards and guardrails built in. The first time you do this, you have to go through and, grant it access, all that good stuff, right? But right now it said to check my task. So no matter where I'm at in Google Chrome, I'm going to get that little notification that's like, hey, the agent needs your help for something, right? So, a lot of people are using the examples of booking travel, those type of things. So it's, even if you give it your, credit card information, which you probably shouldn't do, just in the chat box there, it's going to say like, okay, now it's time for you to enter some sort of information. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. It's going to take me to the new thing here. And let's see what it's asking me to do. So it's asking me to take over the task. Let's actually see. So it says, I need to interact with the cookie consent banner. There we go. All right. That's fun. So I need to go, let's see. It might be done now. All right. Okay, so I had to accept the cookies, and then I can give it back to Gemini, and hopefully that'll be the last time I have to do that. But who knows? It may start going through this job application and say, "Hey, according to my resume, maybe it's not a good fit," and it might open another job, right? But these are things that you as a human would be doing, and they're extremely time consuming, right? So this is this feature. Yes, we're gonna let it bake. I might have to jump in yeah, a couple times, right? It's asking me again. Another cookie banner. Did I not do it correctly? Did I not accept the cookies? Let's see. Oh, it was at the top. My gosh. See, the AI is smarter than me. All right. That's what I get for multitasking and watching all these browser animations. All right. So now we're going to go on to the second feature here, and that is on-page summaries. So for this, well, we're going to learn more about these new features by demoing them. All right, so now I've opened Google's blog post announcement. Well, we'll see because I have to go back and approve something here. Let me take a look at this. Okay, I cannot find. So what I'm going to do here is, would you like to look for other similar roles? Okay, so essentially it started to apply for something for me. So I'm going to try to tell it to just find the best role it can and to not ask me questions. So I'm going to say, please use your best judgment in finding the most, or finding a relevant AI job that matches my resume. Please do not ask me any questions and fill out the job application form autonomously. Sorry, y'all. And without checking on me, right? I haven't used this enough. Normally, I have some kind of go-to language that I know will override, certain tasks that an agent would come back and, always ask for your approval for. I haven't used this enough in enough different capacities to know what those are. So yeah, unfortunately, you just had to listen and watch me fumble through that. But hey, like, this is why I do this live and unedited and unscripted, so you can see what this actually looks like, right? Because I feel a lot of people who are out there teaching this stuff, they're trying to give you the shiny, super edited version, and I'm like, no, that's not how this works. Right, so we'll see if this works. It was a gamble, right? I'm like, I wonder if I could start the show, and if in 20 minutes it could be done, right? I've seen people apply for jobs before, and people are like, oh, it took 2 hours because I had to manually put in every single thing for my resume, and you couldn't copy and paste, and it was so time consuming. So I don't even know if this one will work because I'm just having it find the job. If I found a job application that I'm like, okay, this fits, my resume, and looking at the application, I'm like, okay, yeah, this is something an agent could do, right? It probably would have been a smoother demo, but I'm just giving it to you real. We're trying it. All right. Anyways, going back, and we're going to summarize number 2 on-page summaries. So technically nothing new or crazy impressive here, but this is actually going to, number 1, help us learn about these new features, because I'm, like I said, on Google's blog post about these features, but also it's going to lead us into the next feature. So stick with me here. So I'm going to do the fast version now. We don't need to use, Gemini 3 Pro or anything like this. So all I'm saying is summarize what's new from this post, keep it succinct, focusing on each new feature, how each new feature works, the specific availability of the new features, and how to enable them. So I'm going to go through quickly, read this, because for our podcast audience listening at home, this will, explain all these different features. So number 1, that's what's cooking in the background right now, is the agentic browsing. So this is an autonomous assistant that handles complex multi-step tasks like researching travel costs across dates, filling out forms, filling expense reports, or finding and adding specific products to a shopping cart. Can use Google Password Manager to sign to sites without permission, with permission. Sorry. I'm glad it brought that up, because that's big, right? I use a different password manager. So, as soon as I saw this news come out, where I actually knew about it a while ago, but I started, importing all my passwords from like 1Pass to make sure they're saved in Google as well, because I'm going to be using this a lot. So that is the one, like I said, that's the only out of these five, I believe, that is available to paid subscribers only. And you do have to give it access for the first time. The next new feature is the side panel and connected apps. So that's what I'm in the middle of showing you right now. So the side panel is a persistent side panel. And the cool thing is, and I'm demoing this now, you can slide it across, right? Because it starts pretty small. So I can slide it across, so if I want to zoom in. That is one thing. Let me see. Yeah, unfortunately, you can't zoom in on just the side panel. So in my example here, right, I'm using the keyboard shortcut to try to zoom in because my eyes aren't that great. And it's just zooming in on the text on the actual web page. And I want it to zoom in on the actual text in the sidebar. So that's, one of my small gripes so far. But anyways, how the side panel works is it's persistent. You can use it for multitasking. We're going to get to that here in a second. And that's already rolled out to everyone. Let's see if I can go over here. Resume import is mandatory. Please use any of the resume upload options. Oh, boo. Okay. Let's see. Right. I should have. This is one thing to keep in note. Right. So Google's Agentic browser is a great. I know I had to go back. Right to step one. It's different than other agents, right? Because other agents might be able to, like Claude Cowork, as an example, or something that has a virtual sandbox, might be able to download files and upload files. As far as I know, Google's agent cannot do that. So I might have to, actually, I don't have to pause this. Let's just go ahead. Let's just download this thing. We'll save it as a PDF, right? So yeah, unfortunately, the human is going to have to do one thing here. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen for 1 second as I upload my resume, just so all my files aren't showing there. Then I get my life hacked. All right. All right. So now I've uploaded that, and let's see. So I can just say resume. And I do believe, bummer. Okay, so unfortunately, it looks like this example, dang, is one that is not going to work, right? Which is funny, because when I started it originally, early on, I was doing a little test before we started going. It started to fill out the application fine. That's what sometimes. I don't know if it's because the technology is very new. Obviously, Google Chrome gets updated all the time. There was some finicky things, and, being able to reproduce something. I would run the same prompt, 2 or 3 times, get slightly different responses. The Nano Banana one, which I'll show you, I did it 4 times, 2 times it worked, 2 times it said, I can't do that. So yeah, obviously when demoing this live in the most impressive one, which I have used for a couple of use cases and it's worked successfully. Unfortunately, this time it's like, yeah, I can't, fill out a job application for you autonomously. Whereas before it was starting to do it. So, all right, that's fine. It was getting a little buggy anyways. Let's go show off the other impressive features. Getting back to number 2, the Gemini side panel and connected apps. You do have to make sure that go into your Gemini settings if you are going to use any of the other apps like Gmail, YouTube, etc. So you have to go into your Gemini settings and make sure those are connected. Okay, so it kind of pulls over your Gemini permissions and connections. So I'm going to show you here in a minute what that looks like, how it works, and why you might want to use it. But yes, if you haven't set that up in Gemini, you will have to do that for that feature to work. All right, number 3, going over the recap of this blog post, is Nano Banana. Super straightforward, but the great thing is, right, normally if you're working with Nano Banana, you would have to go into Gemini. So if there's an image on your company's website as an example, and you're like, oh man, we could use, Nano Banana to, do this, make this a little different. You might have to take it from your website, download it, go log into Gemini. If you're not logged in, click upload, go in the lower right-hand corner, make sure you click Pro to get Google Gemini, Nano Banana, right? Go through the process, blah, blah, blah. Now you can just do it in the browser and that's it. So it is seamless. It is great. Next, this is not coming yet. This is technically number 6 on our list. The one that's coming next is personal intelligence. I'll talk about that later. And that's really it. And then they also introduced a universal commerce protocol, which is not really relevant to the topic of today's show. Okay, so that is on our list. Number 2, the on-page summaries. Like I said, nothing new there, but let's take it now to, well, the next level and go over our third kind of step here, or our third different thing that's going to be able to save you a lot of time. And that feature is bringing in the different apps. So let me give you an example so I don't have to paste this. I'm saying I am still on the same Google Chrome webpage. So just give me the summary. And I said, was this covered in the Everyday AI newsletter recently in my Gmail? So you'll see this has access to my Gmail, and I don't have to context switch either. Okay. Now you can think, if you're put your work hat on, why this might be helpful, right? Especially if you do read a lot of newsletters, or if you're reading something, I don't know, one of your competitors' white papers that they just put out as an example. And you're like, wait, I think the marketing team emailed me about something similar last week, right? Think just the amount of time that you lose from having to context switch. That's where distraction comes in, right? So much of these new features in Google's Chrome browser are so good because, well, they keep you focused and it keeps you from losing all of that time from context switching, right? And you'll see here, it went through and it properly pulled out the newsletter from last week when we did cover all of this information, which is great. And then I can always click learn more. I can go click on that and it's going to take me straight to that email, which is really, really nice, right? Save a ton of time from having to, click around and find different things. It's, like I said, it's that piece is a good feature, but that's not the only way that you can integrate Google's different apps inside of the new Gemini side panel. So next one, I'm going to say, can you email me? And I'm going to have to temporarily not share my screen here when I have this work, because it's going to put my email address up there. All right. So it says, oh, it didn't. Great. Okay. Even though last time it did. Again, last time I put my email up there, this time it didn't. So what I said is, can you email me a shorter recap of this in super simple language and include a link to the page? So it took what I was working on here. It made a super simple recap. It put the blog post link and I can email it right away. So yeah, like I said, last time it auto-filled my personal Gmail in there, which is what I was asking it to do. This time it just put user@example.com. But the cool thing is, yes, you can send emails now in the sidebar. You don't have to wait. So that's the great, a great new time-saving feature of this, is being able to actually get tasks done in the sidebar. Very cool. All right, so let's go on to number 4, and that is cross-tab intelligence. I'm so bummed out that my that the agent refused to do a job that it previously did. All right, anyways, so now for this one, I am going to the Everyday AI website. I'm on the episodes page. So I am going to click the, oh, look at that. That's fine. I accidentally just brought up the other email. That's okay. All right, anyways, I am now on the episodes page on the Your Everyday AI website. So if you listen to the show, we've been doing this new Start Here series, which I hope you all have been enjoying, but maybe you've been listening to them all and you're like, oh, wait, I think I remember something from, one of these episodes, but I'm not quite sure, right? Or, this is something that happens to me all the time. I'm like, I remember the source it was from. I'm not really sure where. I want to go back and double check something. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open a bunch of tabs in Chrome. So I'm going to open all of our Start Here series, all in new tabs. All right. And you'll see here, well, for our live stream audience, it went from when I did the blog post, at the bottom, when you enter in your prompt in the search bar in the lower right-hand corner of this of the new persistent sidebar there, it would say, that you're talking or sharing one tab. So now, because I enabled Gemini on this tab, and then with it enabled, I started opening new tabs. It's automatically going to allow me to chat with all of those tabs. But then at any time, right? So I have my, resume tab open in Google Docs. I can click the at one, and then I can go click that, right? The Jordan Wilson resume. And now I'm also chatting with that tab. I don't want that, so I'm going to go ahead and delete that. So let me go open the last two. So that was 698, 695. There we go. Okay. So now what's great, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to switch this to thinking mode here. Might be a little better. So here's what I'm saying now. I said, can you find common threads and themes across these 5 podcast episodes? Also, based on the continuity and progression of the episodes, can you suggest 3 topics to tackle next? So this is great, right? Because you might be thinking, okay, yeah, I don't need to summarize everything. Okay, what about finding connections between different articles or between different competitors? Let's think about that. What if you bring up, your 5 closest competitors, their pricing pages and yours as well, and say, hey, run a SWOT on all of these tabs on the pricing, right? There's so much more that you can do, right? It's not just the text that's on the page. When you're using some of the world's most powerful technology, it is the synthesis of information. It is the personalizing of information, but it's also the context between all of those and connecting the dots. That's where it's really powerful. So it went through pretty cool here. So it found 3 common threads and themes that I talked about, at least in multiple episodes, which is the shift from operator to orchestrator. Okay, I could probably do an episode just on that. The second one it found across the 5 episodes was context engineering as the primary differentiator. And then number 3, it said AI as background infrastructure, the invisible layer. All right. And then it actually has a nice little kind of graph for me. And then it also gave me 3 topics that I could tackle next. So again, it's not just, recapping, right? It's like, okay, what's the big deal? There's so many different, AI browser extensions or, all the browsers you can recap information, right? This is really cross-tab intelligence. It's finding those common threads, finding, weaknesses, finding what you should do next. So at least according to Google Gemini, live stream audience, let me know. Should I do one of these next for our next Start Here series? Number 1, the economics of AI, measuring real ROI. Number 2, the agentic browser, life beyond search. Or number 3, I kind of like this, scaling the AI champion. I like this. So it found kind of some common threads that I maybe talked about, but didn't dive deeper into, that it might make sense for this to be one of the next episodes that we do in the series. So pretty cool. All right, that is number 4. We're going to go ahead and wrap this show here with number 5. Let's hope this one works. Because again, this is one of those kind of worked, kind of didn't. All right, so for this one now, I am still sharing my screen. I'm in our community, our inner circle community. We're going to be opening up access to more people. So make sure you stay tuned to our newsletter for the announcement on that. All right, but essentially I have a photo here that I shared in our open space circle little project I'm working on. I'll probably share about this a little more, but essentially there's a videographer filming me typing on my computer. All right, so maybe I might want to use this, right? But maybe make some tweaks to it. So let's just do a little example here. So I have the image up. I didn't have to save it. I don't have to download it. I don't have to do anything special, right? I'm just going to click Gemini. I'm going to change to, I think I did in thinking mode last time. We'll see. I know Pro usually launches Nano Banana Pro. For some reason, I think it was only firing on thinking. We'll see. All right, so I have a little prompt here. And I just said, using Nano Banana Pro, can you edit the photo in the browser? Please keep the people in the exact same pose, but instead put them in a boardroom with a similar feel. So hopefully this works. It worked once right before I did this, but yeah, this is just a photo of me. Obviously, this is a major organization that I was working with, so I wouldn't do this. It didn't turn out as well as it did last time. I'm actually gonna retry this one. So it put me in a boardroom, but it kept kind of the couch in there that I was on. So I will say, remove the couch. So I'm going to say remove the couch and have me sitting on a chair at the boardroom table. We'll see if that works. All right. Yeah, it's one of those things, especially obviously with something like image generation, you're obviously going to get, wildly different results. But, like I said earlier, the very first one that I was doing the kind of agentic browsing inside Chrome to do a job application, it started to fill it out fine. And then, when I actually hit, okay, let's go live, it's like, maybe not. So interestingly enough, this time so it created a fairly okay looking photo. It just did it from a different angle. But it kind of looks like me. The videographer kind of looks the same, but it looks like a real photo at least. So did a pretty good job. I probably with some better prompting, I probably should have said, don't change the proportions or anything like that, but it kept everything else the exact same, even kind of the, technically the pose I was doing. And, the videographer's position, she was over my left shoulder, shooting down at my, as I was typing. So it kept technically everything the same. It just completely changed the proportions. But there you go. I didn't have to, download it, go, log into Google Gemini, go upload it and do all that. You can just do it right there. So obviously a ton of great use cases for this. What I've seen a lot of people talking about online is, interior design. If you're looking for a house, hotel, etc. Right. Being able to, modify that. I think, especially if you're, looking for a house, looking to do renovations in your own home, it's great to be able to do that on the fly and not having to go through that, again, that manual duct tape process of, saving, launching into a new tab, new window, download, upload, etc. So that's it. Those 5 though are huge, but I think the next one might be even better. Okay, so the personal intelligence. Well, let me both tell you a little bit about it and preview what we have technically coming for tomorrow's show. Because on tomorrow's show, we're going to be talking with Ravi Stein, the VP of product at Google Search. And we're going to be talking about AI search as the personal operating system, the next interface for information. So one thing that Ravi and I will be talking about is, personal intelligence, right? So this is a new feature that Google has announced, and it's rolled out in a couple different places. So it rolled out in Google Gemini, and it also rolled out in AI mode. So what personal intelligence is, it is opt-in. All right. So yeah, everyone worried about their data. It's opt-in only. Okay. But if you opt into it, it uses your Gmail history and your Google Photos history to personalize everything, right? Which for me is a huge time saver, right? Like an example, if you're trying to go find, a restaurant, to go out to eat with a bunch of friends, if you've been emailing about it, if you have photos of the last time that you went out, and you like Google Photos knows who your friends are, right? And if you've been emailing about it, it's going to be great. It's going to know all your preferences, what you like, what you don't like, locations, all of those things. So that personal intelligence, though, will also soon be rolling out to Google Chrome in the Gemini sidecar. So not there yet. That's kind of the coming soon feature. But that is something that Robbie and I are going to be talking about on tomorrow's show. So I hope that at least going over these 5 new features in Google Chrome is helpful. And I'll tell you this right now. Yes, it's new. And you see this anytime that I demo and show off any new technology. It's always going to be a little buggy, right? But that's why I wanted to show you a live, unedited, unscripted look. Some things worked really well. Some things worked not as good as expected. And you can do the same thing twice and you might get, or 5 times, and you might get slightly different answers or slightly different outputs. That's okay. This is all about getting these repetitions. And there's no better place to do it than in the browser that you use every single day. And to tell you the truth, right, I had found myself using, Chrome less than, I was using, OpenAI's Atlas browser, with the ChatGPT integration, really good, using Perplexity's comment. So I was actually using those more than I was using Chrome, but probably not anymore. And probably especially not once personal intelligence gets released inside of Google Chrome. So, hey, we put AI to work on Wednesday. I hope this is helpful. If so, go to youreverydayai.com. Sign up for the free daily newsletter. Thanks for tuning in. Hope to see you back tomorrow and every day for more everyday AI. Thanks.